Hey everyone, I'm in US Zone 5 and I wanted to go through where I'm at with my seed starting. Let's start with the really good stuff. So here are my onions. You can see they're doing really, really well. I'm growing some Walla Walla onions, Spanish onions. You can see there's in the middle here some bunching onions. So yeah, these are looking really good. I've had to trim them because they've gone all the way up to the top of the lights a couple times already. I've been just fertilizing these once a week with like half strength fertilizer. But yeah, overall, I think they're doing really, really good. And I think, I was worried about starting them in like mid-January if that was going to be too early. But I think this is good. I think I'm going to start doing this from now on. Normally, I would start them a little bit later in January, but I think yeah, early to mid-January is great for me in southern Wisconsin in Zone 5. Next thing I've got here are my brassicas. I started those a little bit like a week or two after the onions, so like mid to late January. So right now, as I'm recording this, it is late February. So these have been around for a little over a month. So they're still pretty small, but they look good. I think they've got nice big leaves. Yeah, but as far as what I'm growing here, there's kale in the front, and then two different types of broccoli, cauliflower, and then kohlrabi all the way in the back there. But yeah, these are all looking great. My goal with these, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off, but I want these to grow outside and then pull them out and put in peppers and maybe tomatoes as well. I don't know if that's going to be feasible because I'm going to want to put those things in like at the latest in early June. That's even kind of pushing it. So I'm not sure if that's going to work out, but my goal is just to maximize my garden space. I don't want to have like space just devoted to, especially to like the broccoli and the cauliflower and I guess the kohlrabi too. Like that, it's just not a good use of space to have those, using up a whole garden bed for a season, or at least for a summer. So I do want to be able to rotate these out and put tomatoes in their place. So that's something I'm going to try this year. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to work out because like it's going to be at least another month before I can get these outside. In like late March, early April. I think it's probably about the earliest I can get these things outside and expect them to do anything. So that would only give them like maybe a month or two, at the most to be able to grow. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that'll work out. Um, Other thing I've got going on here down here, I've got some broccoli microgreens. These are obviously for just indoor use only. They're doing really, really good though. I do love this kit that I got from Amazon for growing microgreens. I'm growing these in um, coco core rather than trying to grow them like purely hydroponically or just with like paper towel. I've just found that growing it with a soil medium, they just do so much better. It retains moisture a lot better. They grow a lot faster. The roots still do go down. You can see they're going down into this solution, and I did actually put some hydroponic solution in there, so it is actually, there's a little bit of nutrients down in there that they're able to absorb. So those are doing really, really good. My peppers, on the other hand, I have just mightily struggled for years with peppers. They just never seem to want to germinate. You can see I got them on a heat mat right now, and the heat mat I've got set to, right now it's at 77, but I have it set to 80 degrees. And I don't know, like they just like these have been. I started these way too early just because I knew I was going to have just tons of trouble with germination. So I started these probably 3 weeks ago, I think, and that I you would think these are all sweet pepper varieties except for maybe like the jalapeno, yeah, and the poblano, I guess, is another kind of a spicier variety, and those usually take a little bit longer to get started. But I would expect like Jimmy Nardello pepperoncinis, especially like sweet. These are sweet banana peppers. Like I would have expected them to germinate by now. So I don't know what's going on. These were under a humidity dome before, but these orange bell, especially and the Jimmy Nardellos, a little bit started to sprout. And I didn't want to have the cover on them when I had seedlings like this because I was worried it would, create mold issues, especially having them covered for weeks at a time. So I did take the cover off. I've been, keeping them pretty watered. I think I watered them just this morning. So they're pretty well watered. The top layer looks like it's getting a little bit dry. So I have been coming in sometimes and using just like a sprayer just to get the top moist again. because the seedlings are, just like a quarter inch down. But yeah, I'm curious, if you have started pepper seeds in the past, like what's your trick? I've tried like using a paper towel, like putting them in a paper towel, putting it in a plastic bag, and that has not worked well for me. I found that the seeds would sprout, but then when I would put them in soil, they just would never come up. They would just rot in the soil. So that has not really worked well for me. This year I just tried to keep it simple, and I just put the seeds into just wet cocoa coir, and I've just been, and just keeping it moist, and letting them do their thing. That worked really well. I did the exact same thing up here with the brassicas, and look at that, like 100% germination. Every single cell. I did have to do some thinning, but yeah, every single cell has a seedling in it, and they're doing great. But for some reason, when I do that with, and then the onions too, like those, same thing. They grow great in just pure cocoa coir. But yeah, for some reason these peppers, I've tried, vermiculite, I've tried perlite, I've tried, mixing some compost in there, and I don't know, whatever I do, like I just cannot get pepper seeds to germinate consistently. Um, they are still coming up. Like you can see here, like this Jimmy Nardella here looks like it's about to poke through. I don't know if there's any other ones here. I don't see anything else that's really just starting to poke through. But yeah, every day it seems like I maybe would get one more seedling that pops up. But we're 3 weeks in now, and I would have expected better results than this. So I don't know. I guess I'm obviously doing something wrong here, but I'm not really sure what. So if anyone has any hints or suggestions for what I could do differently, that would be great. But yeah, otherwise everything else is looking really good here. I'm really excited for these onions. I think they're gonna. There's so many onions, and it might look weird to have them. I don't know if you guys have seen like this trick of putting them just in a bigger container like this, because what you can do is just rinse them out with, get the soil off of them and then separate them, because they have such thick roots. It works, and so you can put a lot of seedlings in one single container here. So it's a lot more efficient than like, using like these 6L trays. So it's a big time saver. I'd highly recommend that approach. I've done it in the past, and been pretty successful at it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I do have a couple other things in here. Like I've got some seedlings here. This is for my indoor lettuce. You can see they're coming along pretty well. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for how to get pepper seeds to germinate, let me know in the comments. Thanks.